Townsend plays on, plays to the whistle, kicks away for Valentine. Townsend! I love this game.
Someone's gone through a 25-minute vlog of mine and taken all cuts of me saying that I'm this guy. Because I've said I'm a
What's this?
sweet and sour pork guy. I'm a big seafood guy. I'm a big oyster guy. Big Christmas Day guy. I'm a pretty big sauce guy. A big aioli guy. Big aioli guy. Yeah. Big bread guy. I love my sourdough. Big sourdough guy. I'm a bit of a salad guy. Big pizza guy. Pretty big curry guy. Big skin guy. Big chicken skin guy. I'm a big veggie guy. I'm a red wine guy. I love my red wine. I'm a Pinot guy. I'm a big pizza guy. I'm always red meat guy over white meat. I'm always like a steak guy over fish. Yeah, I'm a crust guy. Bit of a dessert guy. I'm an ice cream guy. Big McFlurry guy. Big ice cream guy.
Where's that?
Someone's taken it from a 25-minute vlog of mine.
It's a bloke by the name Matthew Mace. I don't know if you want to shout him out. Matthew Mace is the guy that's cut it together.
Mate, how much time have you got on your hands?
Matthew Mace.
The internet remains undefeated.
Oh, that's very good.
Oh my God.
We're a big Matthew Mace.
Big Matthew Mace guy.
Big Matthew Mace guy.
Yeah. All right. On that note, mate, welcome back to Elliot Lovejoy.
Yeah.
Joins us again. Mate, any thoughts on that? The video we just saw?
A lot. The fact that our mate Matthew Mace has taken the time to do it should be, pretty good stroking your ego. You're a big everything guy. That must be your go-to, your crux. I've never noticed that before. Big Pinot guy.
I am a big guy.
You're not a big guy.
I don't know. I didn't realise I said it that much until someone just said it. But it was a 25-minute vlog, and shout out to Matthew Mace for putting the time in to go through and edit it all. I mean, the internet remains undefeated, and I've got love for the internet, and I will never take on the internet.
That's very good.
But
I asked Dale. I was like, Dale, did you see that? And he's like, no. Did you know? I was like, did you notice it at all? Like, nah. Yeah. But to be fair, I'm a fan of everything you're a fan of.
Oh, I'm a fan. I'm a big guy. I'm a big, I just like to say what I'm a fan of. But, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. The Chad Townsend Show, as always, it is always comes to you proudly by the playersgolfclub.com.au. Check out the website, hats, merch, accessories, your polo shirts, everything you can imagine, all on the website. Just for a little bit of context today, I am on daddy daycare, and my 2-year-old is sitting just over to my left. So if there are any disruptions during today's episode, I do apologise, but I am on duty all week. And that's, again, we just brought him in, but Elliot Lovejoy, mate, thanks for coming back on the show. We got a little bit to talk about today. Sorry,
we've got that. I got a show because I literally got the 2-year-old in my eyesight at the moment. She's dancing to a song that isn't playing whilst chewing on it. Is it celery? Is it? Dad packed lunch.
Packed lunch, mate. I've packed the lunch today, so
you're a big lunch guy.
I'm a big lunch guy. I'm all over it. Big lunch guy.
Oh,
she's got today. She's got a peanut butter sandwich, some crackers, some fruit,
40 toys.
Yeah, a few toys. Take her shoes off as well.
Sorted out. Picnic rug. Well done.
Picnic rug.
Good
We're still getting after it today.
Yep.
But mate, let's duck into the podcast. And firstly, we're going to recap the game from last weekend, which was the New Zealand versus Samoa game played at Eden Park. Let's talk about the start of the game, because obviously tensions were building. The Haka versus the Siva Tau, I'm pretty sure it's called. Wasn't that phenomenal? Nelson versus Big Spencer getting in each other's faces.
Yeah, and that is always my favourite part of those specific games. And I mean, it's always a wonderful battle on the field. But, yeah, everything in the lead up, the emotions that go with it. I think we spoke the week before about, I think it was Connolly Lemuelu. You saw the tears streaming down his face. Saw some of the other boys this week. Junior Paolo, who I thought did not have emotions at all. I saw him, same thing, tears pouring down his face, and the Kiwi boys too. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I was sitting there watching daytime football, I might add, as well. I was loving watching the speed of the daytime intensity. Obviously, the result went the Kiwis' way. We spoke last week on the show about the Kiwis' team list, and I thought it was possibly one of the best teams on paper I'd seen. They ended up dropping 50 on the Samoans, 50-0. What did you make of the match? Did you see a scoreline like that coming?
No, I mean, my tipping's been putrid in the NRL season and the Pacific Test, all of it. So I think I tipped New Zealand by 6. So no, I personally didn't. You did say, though, you thought it could be a bit of a blowout. Why is that? And I suppose what eventuated the way you thought it might?
Yeah, well, I thought they'd win by about 20.
Yeah.
And, 50 is obviously a lot more than 20. But I just think that, the team that New Zealand had, these guys, I just feel like, the superstars.
Yep.
Like you spoke about last week, their spine with Dylan Brown and Jerome Hughes, and they were dynamic. I thought someone else who played a really integral, probably an underrated role was Kieran Foran.
Yep.
And I heard at the top of the game that New Zealand had used an interchange before kickoff, and Manu Brown moved back to the bench, and Kieran Foran started. I think he played 50 or 60 minutes straight. I thought he was phenomenal.
He was outstanding.
His toughness, his ball playing, he knew when to run, when to pass. Just having that extra added veteran presence, I thought he was outstanding. But yeah, I just thought the class of the Kiwis, right across the board for me was one that stood out.
What's he like, Kieran Foran? Because when you speak to the Titans boys, every single one of them raves about him as a human being, as a club man. They love everything he's brought to the Titans.
Yeah, I don't know Foz that well,
Yeah.
but the same. Everything I've heard about Kieran Foran is leader,
Yeah.
great team guy, looks after the rookies, helps them out. He's a veteran of the game, extremely tough for someone who's been playing the game so long, puts his body on the line like all the time. And as a half, that's really good. Your forwards really, I guess, respect you for doing that. So, shout out to Kieran Foran, and he's named to start at hooker in the number 9 this weekend against Australia, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Maybe the first time he's ever been named at hooker in his career. But I want to quickly go over one of the first tries I saw, which was, I think it was Ronaldo Mulatalo, off a pass of Chance Nickel-Klokstad. Now, Chance not really known for his ball playing or passing skill, but gets over the advantage line after a nice quick play the ball, digs right deep into the line and sees Murray come jamming in, throws a nice little floating ball over the top. Is this a progression of Chance's game? Is this something you think we can see more of next year? Obviously, the Warriors have, RTS coming back, and there's been talk about Chance staying at fullback and Roger moving to centre.
Which is scary.
It is scary. But what did you make of Chance's game, and also I guess his season as well? He's had a great season.
I think any NRL fan like myself, you love Nickel-Klokstad. You love when he first arrived at Canberra, and I didn't know a whole lot about him. Know that he came from the Warriors, hadn't seen much of him at the Warriors. He had that breakout season his first year at Canberra, maybe a little bit more quiet the last year or two, but it looks like, once he's gone back to New Zealand again, as you know, he had an outstanding season. And you said, what he's not necessarily known for is his ball playing. What is he famous for then, for blokes playing against him?
Yeah, I think he's known for more of his running game and his work ethic. I think you compare Chance similar to someone like Dylan Edwards from the Panthers. Both great ball runners, very strong hips, are known for their work rate, the amount of carries they take, the meters they run, the tries that they stop. That's more Chance's game than ball playing.
Yep.
I think, they'll probably leave the ball playing more to Sean at the Warriors. That's one of his strengths. But Chance, that ball on the weekend, I don't think I've seen Chance throw a ball like that so far throughout his career. So I think it's definitely been something that he's been working on, and he deserves the props. We'll move on to a couple more of the other tries. Firstly, there was a no try from Ronaldo Mulatalo and Fa'alongo, who we, sung his praises last week about his performance against Australia. I've got no doubt New Zealand would have done their homework on the youngster this week, but there were some signs where I saw him putting his body on the line, stopping tries. What did you make of the youngster? Probably a bit more contained this week.
Yeah, I think he had a couple of errors, but I think we spoke about last week the fact that the depth of fullbacks that Melbourne have had and currently do have as well. I'm just so excited to see what transpires in the next couple of years. Again, NRL fans love a cold hero, and not dissimilar to Pappenhausen, especially the year or two he had where he was just untouchable. You could see a bloke like Fa'alongo, when he gets regular first grade time, potentially having seasons like that.
Yep, 100%. Couldn't agree with you more. I thought Jermaine Azarko was outstanding again. I thought his goal kicking was pretty solid. He scored a great try off a backline movement out to the right edge, from about their own 50-metre line, I think the Kiwis scored. So they were lethal from all over the field. Jerome Hughes scored a great try from Joe Tapani through the middle. Some good work from him. But the halftime score was 18-0. So the Samoans were definitely in the game. Last week when Samoa played Australia, I thought Samoa got better as the game went on. Even though the score, probably blew out like it did, I thought they still showed a lot of fight. They scored a few late tries. But in this instance, 18-0 at halftime, 50-0 at full time, it was probably a bit of a disappointing result for Samoa. And, I know they've promoted a lot of youngsters, but they'd probably be disappointed with their 2 games. Would you agree?
Yeah, particularly that second one. And I reckon there's one thing, and again, having never pulled on a professional jersey, I can't say I'm making assumptions here. One thing that Australia can't match a lot of nations like New Zealand and Samoa with is pride in the jersey. I'm not saying you don't love playing for Australia, but...
I agree.
Okay, good.
I agree.
This is absolutely everything to them. And I'm talking about New Zealand, Samoa specifically at the moment. I know we got Tonga, Cook Islands, everyone else too. But there was one thing I noticed in the pre-game is some Samoan fans booed during the haka. And I thought, these Kiwi boys, if they weren't up for this before, no doubt they heard that and they were just I felt like they almost played at half pace in the first half, and then second half just, I don't know. They sat down, decided with Michael Maguire, their coach, they were just going to full throttle and, just dismantled them. As a neutral fan, it was outstanding to watch.
Yeah, well, I thought there was a fair bit of, I guess, spice in the game.
Yeah.
And probably more as the game went on with regards to, you speaking about Samoans doing that to the anthem and more the haka, whatnot. There was tensions obviously right away from the haka at the start of the game. So you could see, I was watching the game, Mexican night actually, it was at the Townsend household.
Big Mexican guy.
Big Mexican guy. Margaritas and margaritas and nachos we had. It's a big Mexican
Just
guy.
you and the kids?
No, the missus,
Right, okay.
she left the day after. So we were having Mexican and margaritas and I was sitting down watching the footy. And that's one of the things I noticed. I was like, there's plenty happening here in this game. There's a lot of lip, a lot of back and forth. And that's why one of the things I noticed when the Kiwis scored a lot of their tries, they were into the crowd and just loving it and probably verbally getting back into the Samoans, which is, the theatre of sports. I thought it was great to watch, but obviously it sucks being on the other end of it.
Yeah, and surely we look at now, and I don't know the setup with International Rugby League, and I could be way off. I actually can't remember the last time I watched on telly a game that was in Samoa or in Tonga. So I would think it's probably time to take one of those games in the future to their main centre, because I can't imagine what that'll be like.
Yep, I 100% agree with you. I think there's been a lot of talks around this happening. I think it might have come from Christian Wolf, the Tongan coach. I may have read something a while ago. But wouldn't that be phenomenal?
Yeah, and I like the Pacific Championship thing, but maybe you do it over, a different country gets each year. Maybe we do Pacific Championships over 2 weeks in Samoa, and the 4 sides are in Samoa for that time, all the stuff they can do in the community, and then go to Tonga, bring Tonga into it, or however it might work.
Love it. I guess they've got to make sure that the infrastructure's okay and the fields are up to those type of standards, but it would be unbelievable. The support would be phenomenal. I know that the Samoans and Tongans, after some of their World Cup or big campaigns, they all go back to the island to celebrate with the fans. So,
because but as a fan, I find it a little bit confusing at the moment, and I'm sure it's been explained, but I don't know why Tonga was not
in the Three Nations.
I don't know.
Tri Nations
in the Pacific Championship.
They've taken an opportunity to play against England. So I don't know how the international calendar works with regards to who plays what and who chooses, but I'm pretty sure England would have liked to have played someone, and Tonga would have said, we're keen.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we'll fly over. So they
Right.
obviously played their game, which we might just quickly touch on after this. But we'll get back into the back end, the second half of the Samoa versus New Zealand game. And I want to highlight him because I thought he was outstanding. And it was the Kiwis back row, Britain Okora, who I know quite well and play with a little bit at Cronulla. But his season that he's had this year and put together, I think it's been his best season of his career. I think he's been really consistent. I think he's nailing down the things that he's known for. He's running hard lines, which we spoke about on the podcast earlier, very early in the season. We spoke about also his kick chase. There was a kick put up on the weekend. Britain Okora kicked and chased it to save his life. What have you made of Britain's season so far this year?
He's a top 3 favourite player in the competition for me. I love him, and I love players like that he's known for particular things for people watching the game, right? You always hear in commentary, they always say, all the experts, he's the best whole running back row in the competition. Yet people still can't stop it. People know that's coming. People know that he's going to run those really direct lines, but he can't be stopped. I think they said his try scoring was way up again this year. I can't imagine how cool it was playing with him because watching him, anyone that loves multi, I love a Okora multi, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's been outstanding. His line running, like we said, his kick chase is phenomenal. His effort areas, his ability to defend multiple players in front of him, I think has been a real standout for Britain, and he's really cemented himself as one of the Kiwis, prime best back rowers that we've seen.
A lot of the time, and maybe you can go into the science behind this, a lot of the time you often see like the dominant attacking back rower on the left side of the field with most teams. Obviously, he's parked himself on the right, I think, for all his career.
Yep.
Why is that? Just because it works?
Yeah, well, I think he's got a bit more of a sharper right foot, Britain, so that allows him to come off back on the inside and obviously hit that line, like a hard down unders line. Like you said, most teams, I guess, most guys are easier or pass right to left.
Yeah.
So that's why, a lot of guys like to be out on the left, I guess, because that's a stronger way of passing. That's kind of been a talk about it. But some guys carry in their right hand. So Britain carries in his right hand. He's got a left-hand fend. So if someone comes at him from the inside, he can fend and move out. That's like most guys, they will either carry on the right hand or they've got a right foot step, and that's why they usually like to play on the right side of the field, or they're a right foot kicker. So the ball comes from the inside, they can kick out because their kicking foot's on the outside, and if the kick pressure comes, they can move out and kick. But if you're on the other side of the ruck, on the left side of the field, and you're a right foot kicker, and the ball comes from me here, and I've got pressure in my face and I'm trying to kick, well, I've kind of got nowhere to go on the way out, and that's why a lot of the guys would kick out on the full on the left side of the field. So, good question. A little bit of insight. That's what we're all about here on this pod. Hey?
See, I don't know anything, so I can ask questions. You can fill us in the science. I like it.
All right, we'll move on to Samoa just had no good field position that whole second half. I thought they were really choked down. They made far too many errors in yardage. Obviously, being a fair few tries down, you kind of, you can't blame them for them trying to do things and move the ball around. We spoke about me picking a 20-point margin, and it was 50 points, which I'll take as a win for me.
Sure. This is why we're glad footy players can't bet, because they'd be terrible at it. I actually thought Heon Lukey was probably Samoa's best.
Yep.
I thought he was really good.
I thought he was really strong. I actually saw him in the gym yesterday, the big fella, so he's already getting back into it. I'm like, mate, what are you doing? Go and have a rest. He's like, mate, I need a pump.
He's one of my favourite stories. I remember when I first watched him, he was playing 20s Cup, and I think he was captaining the Northern Pride Cup side in Cairns. And someone had said to me, watch out for this kid. He'll be the best player on the field. And I'd see he looked like a baby giraffe. He was tall and skinny and limbs all over the place, and he looked a little bit unco. But then you watch the game go on, and the tackles he was able to make, the holes he was able to run, and then, flash forward only a couple of years later, debuting at the Cowboys, scoring on debut. He's had a wretched run with injuries, but he's a player I'm really cheering for. I really love him as a kid too, so I'm hoping he has a great season this year or next year.
He, in my opinion, and I don't want to put pressure on him, but I think he'll play Origin.
Oh, agree.
I think he'll play Origin. If not next year, the year after. I think he's got that in him. Like, he is a a powerful, dynamic back rower.
And just a nice kid.
Great kid.
Yeah.
Unbelievable kid. Very quiet, unassuming, goes about his business, works hard. You know, that's why when success comes away of people like that, you're just really happy. So, yeah, mate, I think the sky's the limit for him. And he can definitely get there, mate. We just quickly touched on Samoa before and the disappointment they would have had after the game. And, we spoke about pride in the jersey, which I 100% agree with you. I think those Pacific nations, the pride they have in their jersey, I think it's unmatched. I think it's unreal. And that's why I think that there's so much potential for, international rugby league and the culture and, how much pride they have. Like, let's showcase all that as much as we can. Let's get these guys as much money as we can. But, where to for Samoa now? Obviously, we spoke about them missing a big piece of their team. Jerome Luai was obviously going to set them back. They unearthed, the likes of Fa'alongo and even Helam Lukey, get a lot more game time. Obviously, they'd be disappointed, but there are a few positives for them, isn't there? Yeah,
and I really do think they were a good halves pairing short of being competitive. Being a half yourself, you can probably say more, but you imagine moving Stephen Crichton back to the centres and then having Jerome Luai come in and Anthony Milford too, who rumours have been going to the Super League now. They're saying he might stay another year at the Dolphins. I don't know, but he's still good enough to play halfback for that nation.
Yep, I definitely agree. I thought they probably just lacked a little bit of class on their kicking game, their end of sets. I thought Samoa just to build some pressure and put some pressure on the opposition. Your man Greg Marju was great, 174 metres. I thought he was a standout. Our man, like you just said, Helam Lukey made 46 tackles, phenomenal. Jermaine Asako 213 metres. He was great also. As we mentioned before. Mate, we'll move on to this weekend's game, and that is Australia versus the New Zealand Kiwis in Melbourne. And there are a few changes for the Kangaroos. We'll quickly go through their team. Tedesco, Edwards retains his wing position. Hammer and Staggs in the centres. Valentine Holmes is on the wing. Munster, Cherry Evans in the halves. Travojevic, Flegler makes his debut in the front row. Benny Hunt, Cam Murray, Ruben Cotter moves to back row. Isaiah Yeo comes in at lock. Their interchanges, Grant, Collins, Carrigan, and Nico Hines also makes his debut off the bench. What do you make of that team? A few changes, but obviously still unbelievably strong. Yeah,
it's a great side on paper. Rube's playing in the back row.
Yep.
You think that's easy transition for him?
Well, he's shown it. I've never seen Rubes really train in the back row position at training. He's always in the middle, lock, front row. But he's played Origin at back row, and now he's playing for Australia at back row. So Rubes can do it all, mate.
I feel like you put him on the wing and he'd score 3 tries and be man of the match. I just feel like he's that kind of player.
He would be. You put him anywhere, he'll be man of the match. He's that type of guy. Yeah. He's that type of player, so he won't miss a beat over there. The Kiwis, I'm pretty sure, remain a pretty much unchanged lineup for this weekend's game. As we said before, Foran now wears the number 9 of Manu Brown, drops back to number 14. Griffin is still on the bench, number 16. But, they're unchanged this weekend. How do you see this game going? I mean, we spoke about last week the Kiwis and their team on paper. The Aussies have made a few changes. They don't have probably their, strongest team. I mean, the guys that aren't playing this weekend, Payne Haas, Tino, Liam Martin, are all in the extended bench, not playing, resting. Who wins this game and why?
Melbourne, as you know, has a massive Kiwi community. I remember we used to go to Super Rugby games there, and whenever the Rebels will be playing any of the New Zealand sides, I had a massive fan base that would come through the gate. So I reckon it's going to sound like a New Zealand home game. I don't know if I'm riding the wave of New Zealand emotions at the moment. Going into the Rugby World Cup final this weekend as well. They're going great in the Cricket World Cup. I'm going the New Zealand, not only to win the Rugby League, but the Union. I'm going the Kiwi double. The Kiwi double this weekend. I think they win.
Oh, I think you're off your head.
Well, mate, Payne Haas, Tino. Who else is out? Liam Martin. And you said, surely they're not being
but look
rested.
who they're replacing them with. Flegler.
Yes.
Travojevic.
Yeah.
Ruben Cotter.
Go through the Kiwi pack.
Kiwi pack.
Yeah.
Fisher Harris,
Oh my God.
Leota,
Oh my
Papali'i,
God. Oh my God.
Nikora, and Tapine. Yeah, like it's going to be
That's a better pack.
okay.
I would not run at any of them on any team either. But
Hell
I can
no.
sit here on my armchair and say I think the New Zealand pack's better.
Okay.
Did you put a bet on that?
I will put a bet on that with
fine.
Nikora to score.
5.25 if you put both for New Zealand, both games to win.
Both
The
games
rugby
to win.
and
Well, there you
league.
go. That's
I'm going to be
value.
rich.
That's value.
I've only got $10, but
All right. Well, I think you're off your head.
Why?
Because I'm Aussie. Actually, wait. I am Aussie, but
Aussie too.
this is an exclusive here.
Right.
I actually qualify to play for the New Zealand Kiwis.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the family?
Yeah, because my grandmother, born and raised in Auckland.
Right.
So I could do the old Nathan Feen qualification.
Yeah.
Nathan Feen played for the Kiwis
Won a World Cup, didn't
because
he?
his grandmother was Kiwi. So my grandmother's Kiwi, and I've got that little bit of New Zealand heritage in my family. And if I chose to, early in my career, when I moved to the Warriors, actually, when I was younger, I got asked. And I was like, oh, nah, like, you know, I'm pretty happy with playing for, being Aussie, sorry.
Being eligible.
Being-
yeah.
Yeah, my eligibility for Australia. And
Do you regret it?
no, but like part of me is like thinking, like, what if? You know? What if it would have been cool to sort of do that?
Why don't you put your hand up?
Nah. I'm done.
Why not? If next year,
Nah.
no, just hear me out.
Nah.
If there's injuries and they're struggling and they need to fill the squad, why wouldn't you?
Can you
Like
change now? Can you
It's a good question, actually. I don't know if I can actually change, but to answer your question, if that happened,
Yep.
yep,
Yeah.
do it
Yeah.
for sure.
Like you went into the New South Wales squad last year
Yep.
for experience to help out and all that kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
wow. That's the most interesting thing you've ever told me.
Yeah, well, there you go.
It's not a long list, but that's the most interesting.
It's not. No way, it's not. Oh, yeah.
cool.
Well, there you go. I mean, you never know. I might be doing the haka one day, and I've done a couple of hakas before, actually. Really? Yeah, when I was at the Warriors again, at a couple of the Mariahs, we go there. We'd have a cultural day. We do a hungy, and we do a haka. And Sam Tompkins and I were at the back, two skinny white fellas, just doing a happy haka, just having, ripping in.
I think what we probably need to look at realistically is your post-football career, and that's golf. So maybe you represent New Zealand in golf one day.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's Lydia Ko, Ryan Fox.
There you
who's
go.
Some great Kiwi
And
golfers.
Chad Townsend.
Yeah, well, you never say never. I mean,
Right.
That's one thing I've found out in life is you never say never. You never know what's around the corner.
So we spoke to you on Triple M for 2 years of interviews, and you gave us nothing.
Yep.
And you dropped this on your own podcast.
Always.
Selfish.
Always. Just
Smart
got, you know
businessman.
how it is, just straight bat most of it. Most NRL players do. Well, mate, I'm going to go. I'll go with the Aussies. I think it's going to be a ripper of a game.
Yep.
And I'm going to go on a tight one. I think it's something along the lines of like 18-16, like a real tight game. I think it's going to be a very different game to the last 2 weeks of games we've seen against these two teams against Samoa. I think both these teams have the ability to stay in the grind and kick, finish, and build pressure and have class players who are in form. So it's going to be a ripper of a game. I'm keen to see my mate, obviously Valentine Holmes, back in, gets his chance on the wing. I think this is his 20th Test match. He's played 19 games for 19 tries. So he's going to be, I'm really stoked for him to get his chance. And then obviously, but I am going to switch over to the Kiwis for the Rugby World Cup.
Right.
So I'm going for the Kiwis. My guy, Aaron Smith.
Yep.
And Artie Sevilla, two of my favourite players in the Kiwis. And also the Barrett brothers, the Barrett boys. They love their golf too.
Okay.
And shout out to those boys. I really hope the Kiwis win. I love their system. I've read some books on the All Blacks, and one of the most respectful organisations in world sport. So let's go All Blacks, mate. We'll move on to the last bit of today's podcast before we wrap things up, and it's a little segment we've come up with called "Like It, Don't Like It." So what we've got here is we've got 5 topics that we're going to talk about, which are around the game, the great game of rugby league. And the first one is for you, Elliot Lovejoy, is a national reserve grade. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, like it a lot. Makes sense. Makes it easier too for teams to be feeders for certain sides and not be a arm and a leg mission to get up there and that kind of thing. I always love at the grand final when they have the best Q Cup team play the best New South Wales Cup team. But yeah, let's roll it all together, baby.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. I absolutely love the idea. I think it's only going to strengthen the chance for young football players to grow and make a living from playing football, which I absolutely love. I think having a blanket or a national reserve grade then allows your NRL squad to truly be a squad, train on the same day, play on the same day, recover on the same day, do video on the same day. These things might sound like small things, but they're massive. A lot of the times, if you do have a reserve grade side who isn't aligned with your NRL team might be playing on Friday night, the other team might be playing on Saturday. So then you've got to sort of change up your training weeks for some players, and some players can't do this and some players can't do that. Then some players don't get back from their game or their flight for a certain amount of days and they can't join in here training. Numbers are limited. So I think if we can, have multiple games on game day at NRL, at least 2 games per NRL round. That's great for the fans too. The fans want to see the content. They want to see the football. You have more chances to either put these games on Fox or Nine or even, the other networks like Stan or whoever, like the paid networks.
Would you have to rebrand the teams in New South Wales and Q Cup to be aligned with the club? Because that's my only thing is I love the Winner Manly Seagulls. I love the Newtown Jets and that kind of thing. So
I think you still have them.
Okay.
The next one below.
Right.
And then, you talk about, you hear a lot of things about the Queensland Cup getting upset and things like that. They don't want the National Reserve grade. I think Queensland Rugby League, Ben Ikin was very against it.
Yep.
But you could have the Broncos NRL, the Broncos Reserve grade, and then underneath that, you have Queensland Cup. You have, your Winner Manly, your Tweed, all those, playing.
Well, see, I don't know now because then you're affecting the quality of those competitions.
But it's giving opportunities to more players to play and a clear pathway of hey, you play here, then you play here.
Okay.
Then you play here. You work your way up. There's content, there's games. There's the more footy, the better, I think. The more it gives more people more opportunity.
There'll be someone smarter than me in the comments that can work it out.
There always is.
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Robbie, did you have anything to add on that? I know you're sort of looking over.
I actually agree with you. I really like it.
Yeah.
I've watched a film and shot a heap of Q Cup games this year, but even the lower grades, 20s and that, it's awesome to watch. If it exposes those.
Yep.
Those at those age groups and that, I reckon they'll still be all right. But you're right. To your point,
I think there's this place. I think there's a place for National Reserve grade and a Queensland Cup and New South Wales Cup.
It'd be pretty cool.
Because in New South Wales they have New South Wales Cup, Ron Massey Cup,
Harold Matts,
some other cup, and so on. So there's players who are there to play. Anyway, we'll move on to the next one, and that is Monday Night Football. Now, obviously, we are big NFL fans. They have a Monday night game. We did have Monday Night Football a while ago. They did scrap it. What are your thoughts?
I don't like it. No, because it lulls you into a false sense of security. For someone that hates Mondays because you're at work, I watch football on the Monday night. And then when I associate football with nice things, and then Tuesday rolls around. No, I don't know. I quite like the Thursday night footy because you're almost at the weekend, round it out on Sunday. I also think it's tainted for me being a Knights fan. I remember us losing in Golden Point every time we played on a Monday, so my feelings might be associated with that, but I'm not a fan.
Yep, I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
I agree with you. Monday Night Football, nah. Crowds are terrible.
Yep.
Ratings are terrible. Ratings are probably high because everyone's at the couch.
And you'd have to scrap Thursday then because you can't have it.
No, I like the system now. Thursday, scrap the Monday. I think.
See, I could scrap the Thursday happily as a fan. I could jam all my football into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Surely that's easier for teams then too because you're coming off less turnarounds.
Yeah, the Thursday does create a 5-day turnaround, but you don't have that many. And on a 5-day turnaround, you don't train, so it's great.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Everyone loves it. All the players are like, you train once, you just recover it. It's, but yeah, let's keep it as it is. Next one is for people who may not know, flag football has just been announced in the Olympics for 2028. What do we think about this? Like it, don't like it?
Yeah.
Who makes the team? I know there are specific players who are out there playing flag football for Australia, I'm pretty sure. But do they rely on those guys or do they sort of jump into NRL, rugby? What are your thoughts? Firstly, do you like it? And then, where do you get these players from?
I like it as a sport. For those who haven't seen it, it's OzTag for gridiron, essentially. I love the idea of however many athletes you can get involved. I've seen so many funny memes doing the rounds at the moment. Like, you're going to see the best NFL players in the world come up against Lithuanian construction workers that play C grade on a Saturday afternoon. But it's exciting to think that why couldn't Val Holmes go and play in that with all the boxes ticked? If our players are allowed to do boxing, then surely he can go and play for our flag football.
Yeah,
Team overseas.
I absolutely love it. And I'd love to play flag football one day. Actually, I think it'd be so fun. I obviously love my NFL, but just like OzTag for NFL would be great. I think that the flag football Australia would be silly not to look at some guys in other leagues and gauge their interest. A chance for guys to compete for a gold medal is enticing. So I've already heard Tyreek Hill from the Miami Dolphins say that he wants to play and he's recruiting a few players. So
fastest man on earth.
Fastest man. That means about to get 3,000 yards this season.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Who would be an Aussie that could play quarterback?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe, got it. Matt Burton.
Oh, right.
Thoughts?
I mean, he can
Left
kick. I don't know if
arm,
he can.
Left arm, mate. Matt Burton has a cannon on him, mate. You seen him kick?
Yeah, well, I've seen him kick. I don't know if he can sling it.
His golf swing. I've played golf with Matt Burton.
Okay.
He can sling it on the golf course. He would. I haven't seen him obviously throw a ball, but he'd have a cannon.
So if we've got a second, let's quickly look at the basis of this test. So we got Matt Burton as our quarterback. Our fast people out wide receivers. We got to have Val Holmes as one of them because he's got the experience.
Yep.
Saab.
Jason Saab. Or the Hammer.
Saab.
We can have them both. So we can have them both there. You need a big bugger that can catch the little check down passes.
Yeah, Liam Martin.
See, I'm thinking of swapping codes to Mason Cox in the AFL because he knows the game. Being an American, he's an Aussie now. He's 12 foot tall. You just need him to stand 5 meters in front of you and just perfect.
Love it. Yeah, let's raid the AFL too.
And Liam Martin just to hurt people. Yeah, I like
plays
that.
flag football. So
Well, still put us on the map.
Yeah,
drop a shoulder.
All right, next one on the like it or don't like it is the NRL in Vegas. Now, round one next year sees 4 teams travel to the United States. There's already a huge billboard on Allegiant Stadium, which is in Las Vegas. Now, do you like it or don't like it? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I love it. I think if we can get international eyes on what we all think is the greatest game in the world, then why wouldn't we? I just hope that we get the turnout that we're seeking, but I think it's a brilliant idea.
Yep, I think it's an unbelievable idea. Trying to grow the game, and I think the administration deserve a lot of credit for this, for the way that they've gone about it and trying to grow it overseas. And I think it's something that's going to be quite regular for the following seasons. Yep. My next question is for you: is who now plays, the following years? Obviously, these first 4 teams have been locked in, obviously, for a reason. Now, I'm not sure exactly of that reason, but who should the 4 teams be next year? Is it the top 4? Is it just teams selected randomly by the NRL or teams that have gauged interest in doing it? What are your thoughts?
It's hard, isn't it? Because you could look at, could we send the top 2 teams and maybe teams that struggled, but you want the best product you could possibly give. So I'd be leaning towards the top 4 from the year before.
Yep.
Head along. In doing that, I know this is not a popular take. I'd look at scrapping the World Club Challenge because that's a lot of football for the team that finishes first. But if we get 0.5% of the American population eyes, that's a lot of people. If 0.25% of those people stick on and watch the game regularly after that, that's still hundreds of thousands of people.
Yep.
It's I actually think it's a really smart business.
Yep, I couldn't agree more with you. Now, the last thing on like it, don't like it is me bringing a 2-year-old to a podcast. Like it, don't like it.
The way this one behaves, love it. Dead set. she's been over there chewing into a smorgasbord of food. I'm tempted to hook into the soy crisp she's got going. I don't know if you brought who was the one that brought your TV with the toy that time?
that's Cairo. He's at preschool today.
I don't know if Cairo would be the same. But Miami, what an absolute treat. She's obviously takes after her mum because she's lovely, not like you.
Yeah.
What a great kid.
Yeah, she's been very well behaved today. So bring your daughter to a podcast has been successful. I had a sitter which we couldn't end up locking in. So
if you ever need it, we'll do it.
Yeah, but she's been
$20 an hour.
Yeah, okay, done. That's pretty cheap. So yeah. How would you go with kids? Actually, you wouldn't have a clue.
I don't understand them. I don't know what they want ever.
Neither do I.
And I don't know their age. When I look at kids between 2 and about 7, I couldn't tell you their age.
Yeah.
I know they're somewhere in that bracket.
Yeah.
And I do think babies look like baked potatoes till they're about 6 months.
Yep.
So I don't know heaps, but money talks, baby.
Yeah, it does. It does.
We'll do the Chad Townsend babysitting service.
Yeah. Sounds good. Maybe something we can grow in. But she has been very well behaved. So if anyone's been hearing, maybe some soy crisps getting chomped in the background while you're listening or driving in the car or watching on YouTube, my 2-year-old is just sitting about 2 meters away on the floor, and she's been a very good girl. So haven't you, sweetheart? You've been a good girl. Yeah.
Dad's going to buy you an ice cream after this.
Yeah,
he
maybe
just
not. We're
told
gonna
me.
go home and put you to sleep now. Okay.
That's boring.
Okay. You okay? Okay, just wait there, darling. All right.
She heard ice cream.
Yeah, don't say that. Mate, thank you very much for jumping on,
Thank
mate.
you.
Appreciate it, as always.
Yep.
And thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy the podcast, please make sure you do subscribe, drop us a comment, drop us an expert comment, anything, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.